Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Geek with Me, where today we return with fire and bloom. House of the Dragon is back. Season 3 has begun. The premiere, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood, is out. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by my boy, Joseph George, here on TikTok Live for the very first time, too. How about it?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
And it's always a pleasure to have you.
And always entering new eras, breaking new grounds. But yeah,
we got to try new
things.
An
interesting one. So, but always back to tradition though with Thrones. So there's the old and the new, as they say.
The new.
This feels good. So it feels right. But yeah, a nice marathon. Yeah, and in another maybe different disclaimer. I was very sick for the last couple days. If it wasn't apparent in the stuff notes, so I hope there aren't too many noises of sickness involved. I'll try to keep it to a minimum there. But
you sound beautiful.
But you
sound beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. You look beautiful. I'm sorry that I'm not up there with you. But yeah, it's a very nice marathon that I had while I was just kind of down, not really able to do much other than just lay down and be sick. It was awesome to watch the seasons back. So yeah, it was. I'm full back in Thrones mode. The banners, I guess they're always up on my walls.
Right.
They are constant decorations actually, but now they shine a little more. My attention's drawn.
Different
to them
air
more,
about them.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, man. So, I'm back fully. I'm fully back in. I rewatched the entirety of the first 2 seasons over the course of the last week. I thought I'd started my rewatch too late, but I did it. I watched the last 4 episodes of season 2 today, and then the premiere of season 3, and it was. I couldn't be happier about it. I don't think that this premiere hits nearly the same if you are not fresh off a rewatch. I think it still hits hard. I think it's still a good episode of TV, and we're going to start spoiler free here, of course, as we are wont to do, but we will eventually get into spoilers, so we'll let you know when we breach that territory. But yeah, I adored it. I thought that it was obviously high octane, super high energy, super great pacing, wonderful editing, beautiful to look at. The production value is better and bigger than it ever has been. I couldn't get enough of it, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess I don't know what it would be like if I didn't have the rewatch because I did. I am very, very fresh. Like I think I had maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour gap in between, like when I finished the last episode of season 2 and then the new episode. So I didn't have much time. I mean, it flowed so well though. Like off of the rewatch, it was like, I mean, man, it felt so good. And I mean, it was so many answers or things that I wanted to get answered. Maybe some things I wasn't hoping for. It was everything you want in a Thrones episode. I was just jaw dropped for a solid, I don't know, I'd say 80% of this episode. I don't know, like, I mean, near the end there, it's just like, holy
of course,
crap,
no spoilers yet, but the ending, like, genuinely, I was like, oh, well, that's not. I'm like, okay, big L. I'm like, okay, big L, things will be okay. And then I was like, oh no, bigger L, things are not going to be okay. I was upset. I was aghast. Like you said, my jaw fully unhinged, fully opened, just dropped to the floor. And Emily was sitting next to me. She goes, "Why would they do that?" Talking about the guys who do it, not the filmmakers, the guys who did it. And I was like, well, it's war, I'm like, they just there you go, But man, it's special. Emma Darcy is back. Emma Darcy is fucking back. I absolutely adore them. One of the most inspired choices, and this isn't, I doubt was intentional, but it's something that has just come through so prominently because of Emma Darcy's performance, is that Emma Darcy being non-binary is actively making that character better. And the way that they're able to play that character's gender envy is really, really, really powerful. And I absolutely adore that scene, the scenes where, the character Rhaenyra, she talks about, if I was a king, if I was a man, if I was it is all the more powerful because Emma Darcy is a gender non-conforming person. And that hits. I just love that.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact line in season 2, but there was something very similar to this line here, and it was like it worked in the show and it worked outside of the show. It was just like it was just overall so perfect. But now it's like I don't know, and maybe this is just an effect of Thrones, is like the show just gets so big for me that like the actors disappear into the characters and like their real life selves become the character. Like Kit Harington. I think now I'm starting to see him as Kit Harington.
As like Kit Harington.
Clark. Like I think I'm finally like able to see them as different people, but like especially right now, like everyone in the House of the Dragon cast is like they're so them, and it's because I think it like this show, like it's medieval, it is dragons, whatever, but it is taken to the utmost like the most serious level you can take it, like, and I love that like something as simple as blonde hair, or like the Targaryen hair is like a story like all in itself, and it kind of hit me of like, man, I wonder, without Game of Thrones, like without just the world already being built and just watching the show, like if this was your first introduction to Thrones, like without all the background, like just kind of like we're maybe not all, but like so much of the epic world building that's done that makes things cool, like Valyrian steel, or just the lore, the Targaryen lore, and all these things. I wonder like how much that actually boosts the show, like if it is like a very, very large part, or if it is just like the sequences of things that I'm seeing that I actually like.
I think it's a confluence. I think that there is the show itself has to be good enough for you to be compelled to dive deeper into the lore aspects of it. Like if the show isn't good enough, you don't care about the larger scale, how does this impact the original show? How does it feel? How does it do? Like there's stuff that happens in, I mean, even Star Wars, like I love Star Wars with all my heart, but there's stuff that happens in certain series in Star Wars that has no impact on anything else, and I don't care how it impacts anything else. Like that's just how it goes. That's just how things happen. But this show, I'm already, especially after my rewatch, like I rewatched season 1 and I was floored. I think that as giving us an entire season of prologue, like an entire season that is just like, here is why the show you are about to watch is happening. And it's the entire first season of the show, like that's incredible. And then season 2, the show begins proper, like, and that's kind of crazy. We adjust to the pacing we remember from the original run of the show Game of Thrones. We adjust to that sort of, cadence and storytelling in season 2, and I think people were way too harsh on season 2, and we are all the way back in here with season 3. And one thing that I do love about this subversion of expectation, given the history with Thrones, is that episode 1 is setup. Episode 1 is reacclimating. Episode 1 is, okay, you remember last season, you remember how we ended it. The last 2 episodes were crazy, and now here we go again. We start anew. This is like, we picked up where we left off. This might as well have been season 2, episode 9, the penultimate episode of a 10-episode season. And it would have it hits the same as one of those. It's that good.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember whenever we were going through season 2, at each episode near the end, we were like, okay, so war is starting now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or like, so like obviously now we're really going to war, right? Like we were always kind of waiting for it to happen.
You're right.
I
Well,
think,
I mean, it was the same thing in season 1. We were like, okay, Viserys is gonna die next episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Viserys is gonna die next episode, right? You know.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I wonder, maybe there's something more. Maybe I think now mine might. Never mind. I'll remain spoiler free for this season.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This. Yeah. Okay. I guess I didn't.
No. Yeah. We'll hold off.
Almost
there.
slipped
But
there.
season 2,
yeah, okay.
when it comes to season 2, I was rewatching season 2, going, what on earth were we thinking? By going, okay, next week the war is going to start, right? The war starts the second Luke dies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You know, like, the war has begun. And the entirety of season, you know, of course, we don't have a full-blown battle proper involving Daemon and involving Kristen Cole or involving Rhaenyra on Dragonback or anything like that. But, you know, the Brackens and the Blackwoods go at it. And they're like, can we even really call that the beginning of the war? You know, Rook's Rest happens in like season 2, episode 5. Like, that's barely over halfway through the season. So I'm like, yeah, war was happening. This is just the first massive battle on screen that we got to see. And what a fucking brilliant battle it was.
Oh my God.
But you know what? I think we've done the spoiler-free stuff justice.
Okay.
We are now entering spoiler territory. Spoilers abound. So let's work our way up to the finale of this episode, as it were. Let's start with some of the big players doing small things right now. Daemon. Daemon's being a fucking badass. You know, he's really, really taking it to the Riverlands right now with the Rivermen. Meets up with the Starks. You know, you love to see that. We got a Stark played by Tommy Flanagan, who I fucking love. I love Tommy Flanagan. You'll remember him from Westworld. You'll remember him from Gladiator. He was Cicero. He was like Russell Crowe's best buddy. He was a minor character, but he was a important player. He gets killed by an arrow in Gladiator. Fittingly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's got the scar on his face, you know. Yeah, like he's super cool. Love Tommy Flanagan. Just instantly meeting him, I'm overjoyed. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're so back, you know, like this is an HBO guy. I love this guy. Let's get it. You know, it's a Stark meeting a Targaryen, and they are working together, and it's like, let's fucking go. You know, I'm getting the tingles in all the right spots.
And I mean, those Starks are ready to die too. I mean,
we've come to die
said
for our
not
queen.
Here to like join the queen. Yeah, no, they are there to die, and they're just there for battle. You know, I don't think they know. I mean, I think that it was even said earlier that like that it was like to save resources for the young and like for the upcoming winter. It was like that they're old and they knew, so it was like they might as well go out in blades of glory. And like, yeah, that was pretty dang hype. And yeah, Daemon not even like being on his like he's on the ground. Like he could be on his dragon and like untouchable, you know.
Right.
But like he's actually choosing to just be on the ground and actually fight these people, and that's kind of
right.
Is like I'm always so back and forth on Daemon, you know. Now he seems to actually be Team Rhaenyra, so like
he after his vision at the end of season 2, he is fully behind Rhaenyra, I think, and I don't think anything's going to shift that. There's a there's a meme that actually occurs a lot in TikTok comments when it comes to like edits and stuff, and it happens a lot with House of the Dragon, happens a lot with Game of Thrones, happened a lot with Theon Greyjoy and Jaime Lannister, and it's you know, oh, so-and-so, they will never make me form a solid opinion about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about Daemon. That's how I feel about almost everybody in House of the Dragon. You know, aside from Larys and aside from Kristen Cole, who I think are scum of the earth, they're almost irredeemable, hate them with all my heart. Everybody in the show has done things I passionately disagree with. And almost everybody else in the show has done things that I absolutely enjoy watching, and enjoy as a character beat. And that makes, one of the things with Damon is obviously, he is an absolute freak. He's an absolute freak who all of a sudden at the end of season 2 garners clarity of purpose, He is... Aemond is Damon if he didn't have Viserys. You know what I'm saying? As a brother. Viserys was a guiding light, in some capacity, a guiding light for Damon that showed him what goodness could be. Aemon's older brother was Aegon, who just picked on him, bullied him, made him feel less than, it made him resent him, and thus turns into a little fucking fuck up. I forgive the expression, but Aemon's a sick little fuck too, and I think Damon would have been a lot worse off had he not grown up with a brother like Viserys, and had a brother more like Aegon.
Yeah, I mean, I love the trope, and they do play on it here. That is the people who actually got the crown did not want it more than the I guess with Viserys and Rhaenys, not quite. That's man, that is tough, that one. But this new generation, Aegon and Aemon, it is kind of it is Viserys and Daemon, but now instead, Aemond is, I think you were right, the equivalent of Daemon if he didn't have Viserys as a brother, but the Viserys now, I think the closest one is actually Helena, of what Viserys wanted to be.
Oh,
he
absolutely.
Wanted to be the mega dreamer and the super. Yeah, I don't know what this Targaryen. If just dreamer is the best kind of word to sum it up, but there always seems to be the one Targaryen, that's just kind of not a three-eyed raven, but can just do three-eyed raven type things and just kind of be out there. But yeah, I feel like this Helena is Viserys of what he would want to be to the max, and then Aemond is just what Daemon would basically be to the max.
Right.
I mean, you got to give it to Aemon a little bit. The dude is kind of good at war.
No,
dude knows war. I don't know how.
That's the thing, he's a really great general.
But
and he's really, really great when it comes to strategy in literal battle.
Yes.
But what I love that the end of season 2 displays a lot of, and I think we'll come to see more of in season 3, is that his absolute confidence in himself overshadows how dumb some of his ideas are. He's so confident and so certain of what is right that he ends up making a ton of wrong choices, and because he's so certain of what the next step is, it makes him seem like he's in control when really he's scared. Helena points it out, and Alicent kind of capitalizes on it. Helena's he's not ready for this, and he's finally realizing he's not ready for this. There's that moment whenever at the end of season 2, he's flying towards Dragonstone. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to end this shit. Let's go. Then he sees 3 new fucking dragons. Not even Cyrax is there. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and turn around. And I love that. I love that aspect of the show. I think that Aemond as a character is... I didn't expect in season 1 that he would... first half of season 1, of course, I don't expect that he's going to end up being one of the most interesting characters in the show. Even by the end of season 1, you're kind of okay, obviously he's going to be more important, but you don't realize there'll come a point where he is genuinely on the throne going, I'm the king, Aegon is abdicated, I rule now, officially. He left, he fled. That's... I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, and he He has the look for it though too. I mean, he just fits this show in the maybe more Lord of the Rings. He needs to be like an elvish
Yeah,
Lord of the
yeah,
Rings
he
character.
is
But
definitely, or he's Legolas equivalent when it comes to the
yes,
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, there's a, and you know, the blonde is
mm-hmm.
definitely going along. The long blonde hair is definitely going a long way with
Yep,
him. But this man was made to have
mm-hmm.
pointy ears. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yes,
built that way. There's definitely like the fact that his scar and sapphire eye isn't real is kind of
yep.
crazy. Like it looks like that's how he's supposed to look. And it's funny. It's funny to
Dang,
say
yeah.
that about anybody. Um,
Maybe you
it's
should just
also
go
funny
for it.
that none of
That
these
would be
people
crazy.
actually have platinum blonde hair. They all look so natural with
Dang.
platinum blonde hair. All of it just fits these Targaryens so perfectly that I wouldn't second guess it for a moment. But back on
That is
Damon
weird.
real quick. Something that I was reminded of as the opening credits began here, and we are back on the season 2, tapestry being sewn thing instead of
Mm.
the season 1
Mm-hmm. Oh,
model of
yeah.
old
Viserys
Valyria
is
because
like,
Viserys is gone.
oh,
Yeah,
fuck. Yeah.
we're still building the tapestry. I
That's
was interested to see if we were
yeah.
actually going to keep going with that or if we were going to pivot. But regardless, Matt
Mm-hmm.
Smith's is the first name that pops up, and
Hmm.
it makes sense. He is, as of now, with the regular appearances in the show, the biggest actor in the show. Matt Smith is a big deal. But what
Mm-hmm.
is crazy to me is that, save for Risa Fons and Fabian Frankel, I didn't think of Fabian Frankel, the guy who plays Kristen Cole. They're the only 3
Mm-hmm.
actors who have been in the show since the first episode.
Oh wow, yeah, they didn't have a younger
They didn't
actor.
have a younger version of themselves. No, Matt Smith has been playing Damon since
Oh.
day one. Fabian Frankel has been playing Kristen Cole since day one. Risa Fons, of course, has been playing Otto since day one, but he's not as regular a player as Damon and Kristen at this point. I
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I haven't given Fabian Frankel enough credit for that. One of the things that is so
Yeah.
funny about the amount of time that has passed since that first episode, we can try to add it up. Probably been close to 20 years at this point. Because I know that in season 1, we take a 10-year time jump between 5 and 6. We take another 6-year jump at some point during that season. And then we've been pretty pedal to the metal, real time ish season 2 to now. So let's say 18, 19 years. The amount, and I know that Viserys was horribly ill, but the amount he ages, as compared to his brother, mind you, his brother, Daemon,
Oh. Yeah.
a brother who they say, it's no different than when we were hitting, silk, what what the Valley of Silk, I can't remember whatever they call the row of prostitution, the brothel ring of King's Landing, Silk Central, whatever the fuck. He's like, we were young men when we did that. Are you telling me you guys are relatively the same age or a similar age? That's insane. And obviously that it's a fantasy show. I'm not really concerned with that. I think it's hilarious that, at this point in the show, I'd guess Daemon is supposed to be 50s.
Yeah.
Maybe close to 60. And Rhaenyra is probably supposed to be close to 35, which is believable, maybe 40.
Mm-hmm.
But Alicent having to be the same age, like being 40, I'm like, they both, Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook both look ridiculously good. And there's not an age thing required there. But Matt Smith being supposed to be like almost 60 is hilarious.
Yeah, no, not quite there. It's like the reverse of like of 28-year-olds playing high schoolers, and you're like supposed to just be like, oh yeah, no, they're high schoolers.
Yeah, because Matt Smith, no, I mean, he's got to be 40s.
Good looking.
Yeah, I'm like Matt Smith. He's got to be 40s anyway. You know, I have no doubt about that. And I actually during the hiatus between seasons 2 and 3, I watched Doctor Who for the first time. And I saw Matt Smith's entire run as the Doctor. And for my entire context of Matt Smith as an actor, because it's backwards compared to a lot of people had the Doctor, and then they saw Damon and were like, oh no, he's a weird fuck in this. That's crazy. Like he's kind of evil. I don't know how I feel about that. It was weird for me to see him play like the embodiment of good,
normal.
In the Doctor. Yeah. Like he is a really, really good guy. Definitely not normal, but he's a really, really good guy. Almost not infallible. That's part of the fun of Doctor Who too. But like he is, and not human. And it's a lot of fun to watch. And so seeing him, like realizing just how talented an actor, because I already thought Matt Smith was brilliant off the bones of Daemon Targaryen alone. I'm now just floored by him, given the context of both Doctor Who and this. But I know I connected Matt Smith to Fabian Frankel a little bit as the, main characters who have been in the show the longest as portrayed by the same actor. Let's do Kristen Cole next a little bit, because he's not in the episode very much either. Still existential as all fuck, Kristen Cole.
Yeah, he's done. Bro saw the dragons, and I mean, from that day
We've given this war to the dragons now. Yeah.
Yep, it's over, and he might as well let everyone else know too. That's his only goal in life, is to still be.
Yeah, we're all dead.
Oh, I guess no, he's no longer the Hand of the King. That's or.
No, he's still the Hand of the King.
Transition happened? Yeah, no,
Aemond hasn't named a new hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he hasn't had the authority to. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Aemond only now has the authority to name a new Hand of the King because he's claiming Aegon abdicated the throne, which means now, officially, Aegon is no longer king and Aemond is.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't feel like he is one Hand of the King and the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Like, it's just, he's just kind of out there leading this like battalion, or leading this kind of squad,
leading their army.
But like, I don't know, he's doing it so nonchalantly, and like he's like, all right, well, whatever. Like,
he knows it's moot.
Well, yeah,
he knows there's no fucking point. He knows that this is like, we can do all we want on the ground here, but the second a fucking dragon shows up, we're cooked. Like literally.
Yeah.
I saw men burnt alive in their armor. Like that's it's something you don't really recover from, I imagine.
Yeah. And like your own people getting stepped on, like it just doesn't matter. Like, I mean, when your dragon lands on the ground, if even your allies happen to be there, it's like, well, just wrong place, wrong time, I guess, but like, yeah, so I mean, I kind of, I guess, feel for him, but I love how, like, he is kind of suffering from like the Joffrey treatment a little bit, where it's like his character is just so hateful that like I do have this weird hatred for him, where it does seem like it extends off the screen.
Yeah.
But I love that now he is just so existential and like just kind of depresso boy, because it's like, all right, good, but like now it's like death is almost too good now, because he even said it. He was like, yeah, like wouldn't death be sweet? Like, no. And it's like, well, fuck, like, no, I kind of don't want you to die, man. It's like, so I'm like, I'm in this weird back and forth with.
Well,
Kristen
now
Cole,
it's like, I don't want to give him the satisfaction. It's like, no, now you got to live with it. This is partially your fault. Like you had a hand in this. And that was one thing on my rewatch that I was contemplating a lot more too, because I remember us debating a lot in season 2 about, Alicent, what Viserys says to Alicent at the end of his days. Does she believe him? Does she hear what she wants to hear? Does she da-da-da-da? Does she da-da-da-da? And it doesn't matter. Like, she makes that argument to Rhaenyra in season 2. She's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Whether I had decided, oh, that's what Viserys said or not. That is what Otto and the council were going to do anyway. You know, like that is what they were going to do. So tough shit. You were always going to be challenged for the throne, and it was always going to be Aegon. Sorry, you know, like that's just how it was going to go. What sucks is like there's even a line in season 2 when Rhaenys puts it to Rhaenyra, you know, when did this war really start? Was it when, you know, I burst through the floor of the coronation? Was it when Alicent cut you that day? Was it when, you know, Luke took Aemon's eye? Was it when Aemon killed Luke? Was it, you know, or was it when Viserys named Rhaenyra heir? Mm-hmm. You know, like that was fundamentally, you know, in a world so steeped in tradition, unfortunately that is probably when the ground for war was laid, and there was likely no coming back from it.
War goes all the way back to Aegon the Conqueror, the
exactly.
OG Aegon.
Exactly. You could just keep, and that's the thing, is you could just keep going back, and we could keep placing blame, and we could keep, like, you can make the argument that the Targaryens colonized the Seven Kingdoms. They had no business being here in the first place. You know, like now innocent people have to die because a conqueror came over fucking 100 years ago and was like, yeah, I'm gonna take this shit over if you don't mind. You know,
dude who was married to 2 of his sisters. That just happened. Like he just already had dragons, or he, you know, like he was the first to ever to tame a dragon, like this.
No, not even.
Like they were that was pumping like a while ago.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
He was just the first
dragons,
one to be like,
dragons
let's go
were
over here.
Over there. Yeah, like so there again. This another really important thing to know about our show, guys, is that me and Joe have no book knowledge. We have no idea what happened in Fire and Blood. We have no idea what George R.R. Martin's histories are for the Targaryens. We don't know any of that shit, and that makes watching the show more fun. I do intend on eventually going back and reading all of that stuff, but I want to watch it unfold before I do. And so we do speculate about stuff like this. I have no idea how the actual conquering unfolded. You know, I think that there's because they all had dragons. His wives had dragons. Visenya rode Vagar. Yeah. You know, like that was you know, who is still around, which is one of the cool things about the dragons in the show as well, is that like they live a long fucking time if they can. And I remember I've been looking into like the size charts for dragons, because like in Game of Thrones, because I'm curious about like size comparisons, and I was mostly specifically curious about the size of Daenerys's dragons as compared to the dragons we see in the show. And she has like 3 of the 7 biggest dragons we've seen on screen. Like Drogon is like the 3rd biggest dragon or 4th biggest dragon we've ever seen, behind Balerion, Vagar, and some other dragon. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe Vermithor.
Okay.
But
wow. Okay, I didn't know. I thought Danny's would have been like actually small, like small.
I thought so too.
Way
I thought so too.
Wow.
But Cyrax, Rhaenyra's is one of the smaller ones, which is really really cool. Like Cyrax is fast as fuck. She's a mobile fighter. Like that's her bag, you know. And I think that's super cool. But regardless, we got off on a little bit of a tangent there. Christian Cole is definitely in his still in his existentialism. One thing that I do appreciate about this side of the story, though, with Ormond and Gwaine and the High Towers in general, like Gwaine being a man of honor and like actually wanting to hold his men accountable for like sullying women, ravaging women, as he puts it. We don't get a lot of that, and I like that there's somebody in the show going, "Hey, we can't have that," you know, like that's not a good thing to do. And I think there was a point whenever Emily was watching it with me, and she goes, "Wait, is that Kristen? Like the guy who was getting out of the tent, like obviously having just done it?" And she was like, "Wait, is that Kristen?" I was like, "No, you know, say what you will about Kristen, I really don't fucking like him, but he's not a rapist, like he's he's not done that. So, who has Aegon, which is like, oh, it's an interesting piece of Aegon's history. That's like, without that piece, I think I would enjoy Aegon's character a lot more, but because he has done that, I can't fucking forgive him. That's an unforgivable act that I can never look upon you with grace with after. You got burnt by your brother and fell off of a dragon and now you can't use your dick anymore. Sounds like comeuppance to me. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like things came full circle for you, buddy. Sounds like maybe you deserved that shit. I don't know.
I mean, he loved going to the young kid fighting rings like all the time. Yeah. He frequented that a lot. He was a frequent flyer of that establishment.
Yeah, and his kids were just walking around in there. Yeah, there were little blonde babies in there.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful showing of just oh yeah, it's royal blood. Obviously treat the line of succession with literal. It must matter. It must be the firstborn son. They're I don't know. And even Alicent does. I wonder if this was this episode. I guess my rewatch of season 2 was so fresh. I'm sometimes having trouble of remembering like which one.
Oh yeah, was this episode I've been there with you. Like that Kristen Cole scene, I couldn't remember if it was the end of season 2 or if it was the beginning or if it was in this episode.
But Alicent says something like that, do you think simply putting on the crown grants you wisdom? No, yeah, that was definitely before I think he was burnt. So that was
it was season 2. It was in the recap for this episode though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So maybe I saw it there.
But you did see it before this episode.
But whenever she told him that, like I swear it was actually the first time Aegon thought that. He was like, "Wait a minute. Oh yeah." He was
like, shit.
Wait,
yeah,
I am just dumb, or like I don't like it. That at least that's the.
I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah,
but yeah.
No, well, and it's funny. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say like this side of the story, like it seems so like I don't know, like there is just a lot of moving parts that I think like go together, like who will meet up, like if Aemon will meet them there, all of these things, but like I think it's like. I don't know. We got the huge naval battle already, kind of in water, and I think that this side of the story over there is leading to just the on foot. We will get the just on land, a lot of men clashing swords and shields. Eventually, it feels like over there, with probably some dragon fire. But I mean. Wow, I guess maybe that feels kind of right. It feels like they're gonna do one huge naval battle, they'll do one huge on land battle, and then it'll be like, all right, then it's
probably get an all out air battle,
or like whatever.
When it comes to the literal on the ground battles, what's so fascinating is that for Game of Thrones, it felt like give me that. I can't wait. Show me. Give me a 45-minute fucking battle episode. I'm here for it. And this show, they've made such a point of avoiding those episodes that it almost feels small potatoes on the ground battles. Like, the only time we'll ever see on the ground battles, like at Rook's Rest, is when dragons are fighting in the air also. That's true. But I mean, beyond that, I guess we could see Kristen come to blows with Daemon. We could see Aemon fight Daemon. It's whenever the hand-to-hand battles that we will see will culminate in a one-on-one fight between people who are important. Mm-hmm. Like Corlys fighting Lohar in this episode. Yeah. That was the important hand-to-hand battle of the episode. Like there's always going to be dramatic tension. They're never just going to give you a battle episode for the sake of a battle episode. There's always going to be building to this 1v1 face-off that we can't wait to see. And shout out Big Boy 0402 on the live who just liked this shit a bunch of times. I appreciate you, homie. Something I'm gonna have to get used to doing. Look at him, he keeps going. It's my boy, big boy. No, I I'm gonna have to get used to doing the show on TikTok Live, because I've genuinely enjoyed this format so far. By the way, I think this might be something we do. Yeah, I am taken by the emphasis they've put on the people in the battles, not just the battles themselves, you know. And I know Game of Thrones was great at that. And what, like, you think back to Hard Home, which is, in terms of the battle episodes, not as big a deal as Battle of the Bastards or The Long Night or even The Watchers on the Wall at the end of season 4. You know, Hard Home does kind of get lost in the minutia a little bit when you talk about the best battle episodes of Thrones. But what you're building there is Jon Snow versus the Night King. You know, the Night King stares down Jon Snow and is like, "This is what I'm about." And that's the point of that episode. You know, like, the battle, awesome. I love seeing it. Super cool. But the point of that episode is for Jon to keep building his fear of the threat to the north. And that's what I love, that there's nothing ever done without a purpose. And when it comes to House of the Dragon, they haven't given us a battle where we don't lose anybody. If there's a battle, we lose somebody.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just for sure, and not even just like one. You know, you think one major character. You know, max. No,
one major dragon. Yeah.
No, you just never know what you're gonna get, and then it's just is over. And like, I mean, is Corlys went in the water?
Unconfirmed. There is a little bit of a, you know, this season on House, they do one flash to him, and it's him still eyes shut, water washing over him. He could be dead. He could be dead. I don't think he's dead. I think they'd make a little bit more of a moment out of Corlys dying, because Corlys has been a rock in this show. Yeah. You know, I think they would definitely emphasize that a little bit more. Shout out Big Boy 0402 in the chat. Corlys thought it was a good idea to wear armor on a ship. Yeah, stupid as fuck. I have no idea why he would do that.
No, they did know these are pirates. You know, he did, like, okay, so is it the Tullys? Is it the, you know, but he's like, all right, what do we expect? And he goes, oh no. This is the triad. You know, this is the
triarchy.
This is not traditional, or triarchy. Yeah, triad. This is not traditional warfare. They will board. Like, that is their goal. Their goal is not to beat us with naval prowess. They're just going to ram us and board us.
They're going to ram us and board us. Yeah. Well, and, you know, at a point, there does come a point where you're weighing, do I want to get stabbed? Or am I taking the risk that I might go overboard? And if you're betting on yourself, you go, I don't want to get stabbed. You know, that's the more immediate threat. So I don't exactly disagree with the fact that it's stupid to wear armor on a ship. I do agree with that. I think there comes a point where you got to weigh your priorities, and you go, I'd rather not get ran through by a sword or something. It's the more immediate threat. It's the more immediately pressing threat. Now, Corlys, and see, there are some characters that have such profound, not just body armor, as Corlys was wearing, but plot armor. And in a moment like that, you know Corlys isn't dying. If Corlys was drowning, unfortunately, they would make us watch Corlys drown, because the show pulls no punches. You know, the world that they've built pulls no punches. So now, could Corlys be in a fucking coma? Yeah. You know, we could be dealing with something that was similar to the end of season 1, where Rhaenyra's Hand of the King is missing. Aemon's Hand of the King is missing. They don't have their closest advisors anymore. And we could be building to something like that. And I've appreciated the sort of mirror that they've built on both sides of the conflict. There's
I didn't pass the human test. That's so sad. Okay.
Oh no, you're a robot now.
I'm a human. I am a human now. Okay, sorry.
Okay. There's a really cool mirror between the rises and the kind of falls of the people on both sides of the conflict. And I think that the more, and it's, I was comparing earlier Aemon to Daemon, or Daemon, like it's 1-to-1, and, Aegon. And I like that everybody has a little bit of everybody in them because it's a family. Like they are all a family. And there's a moment in this episode that, I mean, just heartbreaking and terrifying in the context of the show is when Rhaena is on Sheep Stealer and, has the good instinct of going, I'm going to help in this fight. I'm going to go aid. I'm going to go make sure that my people are safe. But she's young and she's naive and she has no idea what she's doing. And whenever Bela is like, go get her, I'm like, oh no, here's the thing. Yep. Best case scenario for the Valyrians, for Bela, for Rhaena, is Jace dies. Because here's the thing. Hold the phone. Hear me out. If Rhaena dies and it's Bela's fault, Bela dies. You know what I'm saying? If Bela dies and it's Rhaena's fault, Rhaena dies. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of a, I don't see why I'm still around thing going on. I did that.
Oh, okay.
This was my fault. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, Jace dying, no, don't get me wrong. I don't love it. I'm not like, that was a win. No. It was worst case scenario for Rhaenyra. Like Rhaenyra doubtless would have preferred Bela or Rhaena dying. There's no doubt there. But as far as like those girls who have suffered enough for my money, they've lost their mom and their dad's a freak who doesn't really love them, and they've lost their grandmother who practically raised them, and Corlys isn't around a lot. Like Rhaenyra is their last hope, as like a parental figure, and she's done a very, very suitable job, I think, in raising them. But
damn, that is actually kind of best case scenario, sadly.
For them. Not for Rhaenyra.
It even kind of hit me on this rewatch that, like, I really did like Jace, and kind of the only thing that was kind of, eesh was like, he was like, but the blood has to mean something. These peasants can't ride dragons.
He's a classist, elitist little fuck, and there's no reason for him not to be. He's raised with the idea that I'm going to be king one day. That's just what people who are raised like that are like.
Yeah, and like to his point as well, like the story was before that you had to have been from the king's blood to claim a dragon, but now you're telling the world that anyone can do it. So like everyone knew he was a bastard, but he had a dragon, so that was his security. That like, oh well, I have a dragon, so obviously I you can't take that blood away from me, sort of thing. But he was awesome, but like the history books, and still there is probably the answer out there. I don't know if they're deviating from the books so far, or if the lineage is just out there and you can look it up. But at least I don't know. But like they do have another Aegon and a Viserys.
The babies that are Daemon and Rhaenyra's.
Yeah, and I really don't think the Greens have much of a chance of like remaining on top anymore. I don't like it. It feels, I don't know. Like maybe they do have some switcheroo, but like they have like I think Rhaenyra's side comes out on top, but like now all the strong kids are just gone, but you're left with the actual
full-blooded. And that's what sucks now too, is that Jace and Luke are dead, and the reason a lot of this conflict started is because Luke and Jace were the heirs in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was so much conflict around the fact that her children were bastards, and that there was, you know, that how are we going to let... And, you know, a lot of that did pertain more to the Valerians, and sadly, we are just kind of watching the Valerian line end. Yeah. That's actually is what just happened. Oh my god! There is no more. That's why there's no House Valerian in Game of Thrones.
Oh my god, we are watching it actually end. That's insane.
Yeah, there's no Valerians left. That was Corlys. I would hope that he naturalizes via Rhaenyra, Adam, and Alan. I would love to see that, like as a kind of redemption, eventually to kind of try to give them his name. You know, maybe Adam, maybe they refuse it, whatever. But, you know, like we've seen that before. Roose naturalized Ramsay, and, you know, Ramsay was Ramsay Snow. He became Ramsay Bolton by decree of the king, and, like, that's something that you can do. So I'm hoping that Corlys extends that offer at least to Alan and Adam. But given what we know about Game of Thrones, which is that there is no House Valerian, doubt that comes to pass.
Yeah. It's, you know, we have 3 eggs, at the end of this, you know, eventually, you know, I think we have a lot more time. We have, Duncan and the Egg, you know, is in between. You know,
it's in between
the 2 shows. So,
and that's, I thought that, and I didn't think that would suck the air out of this by any stretch, you know, like, what I remember when we were talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we were really compelled by the fact that there's no way of knowing. Like, we have no idea which Targaryens came out on top because they're all fucking Targaryens. I think you're right. You're talking about how Rhaenyra's side is probably going to come out on top. And I do think that that's an inevitability. But obviously, according to the histories as of Game of Thrones, there's never been a Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, so something that I'm certain of is that Rhaenyra doesn't live through this show. I don't think it's this season. We've heard that this show will run 4 seasons. That's it. You know, I think that is when she dies. I don't know that it's like the last thing that happens in the show. I don't think it can be. Maybe it's like a mirror thing. Maybe seasons 2 and 3 are the bulk of the conflict. Season 1 is the prologue. Season 4 is the epilogue. And maybe we get a lot more, you know, again, time skips and kind of like showing us the fallout, as it were. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think Rhaenyra, the Reds will win. But how is kind of unclear.
Just had a thought, and I don't know if it can work. But please. So, you know, I guess Aemon kind of is taking power right now, you know, but like it really was Aegon on the throne, and now like if Rhaenyra acts fast and goes to King's Landing, you just swap one Aegon Targaryen out for the other Aegon Targaryen.
Right.
And it's the living, you know, it's Rhaenyra's son. Rhaenyra and Daemon's son just becomes the king, but until he comes of age, you know. So Rhaenyra will just stay, you know, she'll technically not be the queen anymore. Yeah. It will be Aegon technically, but obviously, you know, the true ruler, it remains like Rhaenyra. I don't know. But I feel like that kind of defeats the point of her like giving it to Aegon would be because like she knows the realm would go into chaos if a queen's on the throne, blah blah blah, you know, and so she's renouncing the title to give it to a man, and all of that, which I don't think, I don't know. I feel like she could get to that point though. Like I feel like she either does die and she like tries to go for the throne and like, you know, kind of just
I'm going to try to shield your feelings and kind of just hold your hand when I tell you this. She's fucking dead. Like she's so dying. I'm just preparing myself for that inevitability. I'm not like, the show hasn't given me any reason to truly believe that. I'm not saying that that's like, oh, and obviously they're alluding to that. No, I don't think that they've made that apparent, but it would be the most heartbreaking loss. We know that there isn't a queen, you know, but I think that whatever end she may meet is kind of the deciding factor. It is like it is functionally the end of the war. Maybe she takes them both down, and then it's, maybe it's kamikaze stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm like thinking, yeah, we'll have the happy ending, like this, nothing bad will happen to Rhaenyra.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I forget what universe I'm in right now. And I forget what I just went through. Yeah, I kind of wanted to go through all the deaths that we saw, like the confirm, like people that we know are dead for sure. Jace,
unfortunately,
the first
rest
arrow.
in peace.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, he's good. It's like, he turned around.
Well, for me, it was when Vermax was like gonna drown. I was like, okay, dragon's dead. That really sucks, but at least Jace is okay. And then he gets hit with an arrow, and my jaw went, oh. And then he turns around and he gets hit with another, and I went, oh. Yeah. And then he gets hit with a third, and he's like dead. It's obvious on sight. He died when that third arrow hit, and I was like, oh. And I just sat there mouth agape for like 5 fucking minutes, dude. It was, there's kind of an interesting give and take with this show as far as the pacing is concerned. Because the show has moved so fast and accelerated so greatly and still has such a vast focus character-wise, I feel like I haven't been given the time to care about Jace in the way that I would like to. I wish I cared more about Jace. And don't get me wrong, like his death still hit me, but it hit me because of the way it will affect Rhaenyra. It didn't hit me because Jace is dead. It hit me because I care about Rhaenyra. And that's her son died. Like that. And that to me is more important than Jace not getting to grow up. That's sad. It's undoubtedly sad, but the context in which it is sad is because his mom is around. Like that's devastating. Not to mention that his betrothed was right there when he died, couldn't save him, and they were clearly falling in love. Bela and Jace actually were building something good together, which sucks. Rhaena is going to feel responsible. Who knows how much Bela blames her for that? I don't think she will. Bela seems pretty level-headed. But I don't know. Like, there's so much that could happen around Jace's death that affects me more than Jace himself dying.
Yeah, I mean, because like his death itself didn't cause me to cry, but then watching the next on, here's what's gonna happen. Whenever it showed Rhaenyra like just bawling, it instantly got me to be like, fuck, I was like, shit. So yeah, it's like it wasn't really him, but and it was this weird kind of background thought of like, man, it would. Oh my God, there's still another strong out there.
Yeah, there's still another strong. Joffrey's still around.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Joffrey's still. Oh my, that just hit me. I thought that she was only. She only had her kids with Daemon left.
But her Targaryen kids left. There's one strong boy left, yeah.
Oh
God, I loved Harwin. And the fact that I loved Harwin for 40 minutes in one episode is fucking crazy. Like, I loved Harwin. And he appeared a couple times before that, and he was good in those appearances. But, like, on rewatch, he was even better because Like, you're like, oh, this guy's good. I like this fucking guy.
Fucking Larys, that's what we get out of House Strong is Larys, yeah. Is it? I think we maybe already theorized about this, that he's like not actually crippled, that this is a ploy, a play.
Yeah, we have theorized that in the past, and I don't know how much I truly abide by that. I think that there is a argument to be had because we've seen images of hooded figures walking perfectly fine, and like allusions to the fact that it could be Larys, or it could just be somebody working for Larys. And he explains to Aegon how he uses his affliction
Yeah, people will underestimate you. Yeah, he is, and there was a line specifically this episode that like it felt like it just could be a off, one line joke or something, but like Aegon says like, "Oh, and my protector is a cripple. I have a cripple for a protector," or something like that, and then they're captured or whatever, they're being delivered to Dragonstone. I don't know. It just be a twist that it seems, I don't know, is like, oh, he's not crippled, but like it feels like he's about to whip out the whatever amber, the what is he, a firefly or what? No,
yeah, bumblebee. Yeah. I think it's a firefly.
Whatever bug is in there. He's like, there's a dagger, there's a sword in there, and he's about to just like whip out.
Yeah, what's his play? Yeah. I know it's like the only play left because Aegon is too prideful. Aegon's too prideful to not bend the knee, but like, I was like, oh, we're just going to have Aegon brought before Queen Rhaenyra, huh?
Delivered, like hand, and so that's why, like, we know we're headed to King's Landing. Do they leave for King's Landing while Aegon is being hand delivered to them?
Well, he's not getting delivered to Dragonstone. They do say that he's going to be kept at a keep in the one of the keeps in the Riverlands.
Okay.
They're like, take him here, and we'll hold him there until we can figure it out and contact Queen Rhaenyra. But yeah, I really loved that scene. Also, just as in an episode that's so heavy, to get a comedic beat. He was caught at the reach. Shout out to Honey in the chat here. He was caught at the reach. Okay. Yes, that is correct. It was the reach, because they were heading west. No, they were heading east, trying to get to Bravos. So yeah. They're not heading for the Westerlands. They're heading east, trying to board a ship and get to Bravos, because that's where Larys put his funds, his gold, his much gold. Yeah, so they're... Okay, another good speculation. I think he wants to get caught to get closer to Sunfire. Are we sure Sunfire's still alive?
Sunfire was that?
Sunfire was Aegon's dragon.
I think Sunfire gone.
I thought Sunfire was dead. And I might be wrong. Maybe Sunfire is still kicking. But I was under the impression Rook's Rest gave me the impression that Sunfire died in that interaction. Now maybe because they hold that castle, they could give Sunfire time. Honey, we would prefer that you didn't talk book spoilers. That was something we talked about earlier. Me and Joseph do not know anything about the books, which is why we have fun with the show. I appreciate you asking first. Apparently Sunfire is going to live. I can use context clues. But don't worry, it's okay. You are forgiven. Bless you for being here. That doesn't surprise me though. Like, that is that would have been a reveal that I would have just been like, oh, okay. I guess he lived through that. It's not the end of the world. So, that is something I was
surprised Aegon lived through that. I thought
exactly, like Aegon living through that definitely means Sunfire could live through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a fucking dragon.
Yeah. I'm actually chill with that. But I think Larys though, it always seems that he's up to something, because like that's just his character. But like this could just be like they were going to kill us, so like this is just the last option I have.
That's maybe, and like here's the thing: Aegon's certainly not in on it. You know what I'm saying? Like Aegon is like, whoa, fucking like, watch it.
Are all of these people like in on it with Larys? Like, is Aegon the only one there that's not in on it right now? Is this capture meant to have happened? Was this Bravos just, in his ear, like they were never going to get there. And this was like always his plan. Because on the real, there's no real value to Aegon anymore. But if you can somehow, I don't know, like, this is basically the best deal you can get, is like him still alive, hand delivering him to get the best. I don't know, like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't see what Laris specifically gains, like himself.
Laris, well, and that's the thing is, Laris has an idea though. Again, Honey in the chat said, I think Laris is too strategic, and I don't know if strictly Honey means that too strategic, like he's over planning, or if he's too strategic as in like, damn, he's good at this shit. But either way, I think they're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always playing both sides, always able to try to find a way to get himself up top. Because, he was whispering in Aemon's ear, he was whispering in Aegon's ear, and he was doing conflicting reports. He moved on from Alicent when she was no longer useful, even though that seemed to be the wagon he'd hitched to. I think that now he sees an opportunity to go and be like, I brought you Aegon. Like, I did that. I didn't have to do that. I'm turning coat. Now, I don't think it might spare him. Maybe Lair sees the writing on the wall. Maybe he sees, okay, Rhaenyra is going to win this. If Rhaenyra wins this and I'm caught, I am going to die for what I did to Harwin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the Strongs themselves have like inclination that it was him.
Yeah, like Sir Simon Strong at Harrenhal is like, yeah, there's no way anybody else could have done that.
Yeah, but do you think like it's public, or like do you think that like Rhaenyra would already accuse Larys kind of that, or like that Rhaenyra side knows this?
I think yes. I mean, because Simon is Rhaenyra's side.
Yeah, I guess true.
I would imagine I'd imagine that's something that Rhaenyra has the strong suspicion of.
I see what you did there. Even if you didn't realize it, the strong suspicion.
Boy.
But yeah, no, that's okay. Because if he goes up to Rhaenyra, say he gets everything he wants, and Larys, he's taken over by whoever these people are now. Like, they're going to be the one to deliver Aegon now. So like, it doesn't feel like he's benefiting much. But say they let him hand deliver, Aegon to Rhaenyra. What is, like, Rhaenyra already has a Master of Whispers that she also is in love with. So like,
I don't think Larys is looking for a gain. I think he's looking for a way to live. That's literally something he says to Aegon in season 2 is it's better to live no matter the circumstance. Like it's whenever he's convincing him to flee at all, he's like, wouldn't you rather live though? And Aegon's like, I don't know that I'd rather live. And he's like, nah, that's no way to look at it, I'm assuming that Larys, his best hope in this, and not best hope, but I think one of his possibilities given this, would be, maybe I take the black. Maybe this gives me the opportunity to take the black, because even if she doesn't think he killed Harwin, Honey is over. Honey is in the group, in the chat over here, talking about how she said it to Daemon that she thinks Alicent had Harwin killed. I'd forgotten about that. For their lack of virtue, he was still the Master of Whisperers and a loyal servant of the Greens, which she can't take him in. His trade was deception. It would be like, take the black or get killed, essentially. So yeah, I think Larys is like his hope, and I don't even think this is like final end game, is like, I'm hoping we get all the way to Rhaenyra. Hopefully that's what ends up happening. That would be great. I don't think that's his final goal, but if that comes to pass, I think it's like, at least then I get to take the black.
Yeah. I guess I was always trying to think of like, he needed to remain in his seat of power. But I think you're definitely right there when he was like, he literally said it out of his own mouth of like, living is better, and like he wanted to have his honeymoon run away with Aegon. They're both crippled, like, have this weird, like, I don't know. Yeah. Larys was fully ready for that. Like, Aegon wasn't having it, but I think he was fully there. And I love, like,
Larys had deeply overestimated the connection they'd made, which was so funny.
He thought, like, his like cripple speech that he gave, like, although good, I like the performance and everything of it, and like the scene was good, but like he thought that one kind of speech was like, oh, I got him now, or like he's like, we're basically a thing, like, after that we're both cripples, so like we gotta be a thing. And he's like he's a master of whispers to the worst possible end, and then like Massaria is like the best possible master of whispers. Like she like, I love like her move. It was last season, but like her move of like, yeah, no, I have the king. You will stop this child fighting.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you where the king is.
She's a woman of the people.
Like,
yeah, she's a woman of the people.
Go. Yeah,
Massaria aims to serve the realm.
Mm-hmm.
Larys aims to serve himself, and that is the fundamental difference between any good person of power.
Yeah.
I think that Massaria takes a lot more after Varys. Larys takes a lot more after Littlefinger. Like that's those are the fundamental the pillars of what we understand to be our whisperers in Game of Thrones. So I think that those are definitely their easy comps. It was something Varys talked about all the time. Like his loyalty lied with the realm. There was no king. It wasn't whatever the fuck. It was, if you are good for the realm, I believe in you. And
yep.
Alas, he got burnt for it, but hey.
Man, I thought, it was pretty early, I think really early on in the episode, whenever Aemon pulls the maester out of it just while he's sleeping and just almost beheads him. And I'm like, oh my, I'm like, no way. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was like, not my boy Orwell. I love that guy.
Yeah. I love this might have been season 1, but like there was an older maester that was just super old and like just kind of in his ways, and Orwell was like, oh no, like this is obviously the way to do it. And the old guy was like, no, this way you will obviously be better.
Yeah.
But like Orwell, like I don't know, he's just been so content. He's like the
he's a
just
perfect
one
servant.
of the actually good advice that is like.
He's a good fucking doctor. He just wants to make sure that everyone's okay. He wants to make sure everyone's healthy. I love, Alicent asking him, do you think that Viserys wanted Aegon to be king? And he's like, couldn't say, never told me.
Safe
that's
answer.
The perfect answer. That is the perfect fucking answer to that question. He's like, just a really solid fucking guy, and I love that. So yeah, I was so nervous for Orwell there. I really thought we were gonna lose him that quick in the beginning of season 3, and then they were like, "Nah, we're just gonna kill the queen's son. Don't worry." I was like, okay, "Oh, thank God! At least we still have Orwell." Let's go to Aemond. Let's go to Aemond a little bit.
Okay.
Because his story this episode was compelling.
Kiss your mom. What the fuck was that? Why? Like, I was like, what the, like, that's okay. Like, you're
not entirely unexpected of Aemond. There was a moment, repeated moments in season 2 where he, goes to the, just ridiculous mommy issues, obscene mommy issues. He goes to the brothel to lay with the woman he first had sex with, and he just kind of cuddles with her and lays in her lap and has her baby him, and like he goes to her for motherly affection, and has sex with her. So there's definitely a confluence of feelings involved when it comes to his mom. That was completely unsurprising. I knew, and Alicent, I love Olivia Cook. The way Olivia Cook plays that moment is maybe my favorite moment of performance in the episode. Like the way that she doesn't shut her eyes and, he goes, he pulls away, and then she just like lets a tear fall. Oh my God, it's so good. Honey's in the chat saying Freud would love Aemond. Yeah, Aemond is constructed.
Yes.
Constructed based on Freudian study. Like he's just picture perfect.
I mean,
the epitome of Freudian. He's so picture perfect there. Dude, the way it's like a first kiss.
Yeah.
It plays like a first kiss also.
Oh no.
For Aemond.
Was that?
It's not his first kiss. He's had sex. I guess maybe he hasn't kissed the people he's had sex with, but
I actually don't think he's ever. I think he literally only went to the pleasure house just to cuddle. I don't know. Well, no, because even that lady does say like, oh, you know, or
yeah,
like
they've
she
had
starts to
sex.
get like up, and he's like, no, not here. You know, he like stops her.
Yeah,
there, but like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But no, I mean, at least every non-battle action that he has is like, okay, yeah, this dude should not be king. Is like because he's only good or cool whenever he's in battle, and I got to give it to him for like that. He's got like the strategic mind for that, but everything else is like, dude, you almost beheaded your fucking mate. Like, what are you gonna just get? I don't know. I mean, maybe there are just a run-of-the-mill maesters to choose from, but like, I mean, that's crazy. Like, you know, that's someone on your small council that you almost just beheaded. Yeah. After completely like just being wrong. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like you said, he's so overconfident in like his just what he believes, and like it was just wrong. You know, thank God.
Yeah, he's so certain he's right all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, like there's a few moments in season 2 where Alicent, you know, when she goes to Rhaenyra and is like, "An Aemond, you know what Aemond is." You know, like it's. She knows, and that's another thing that I love about Alicent in this episode is that she figures out how she can control Aemond, and unfortunately, it's gonna be bad.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I didn't think of the future. Oh no.
Yeah, well, and she's just trying to reconcile what she told Rhaenyra at the end of season 2. You know, she's like, shit, Aegon's not here. Like, she's now worried that Rhaenyra is going to think that she set her up.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, fuck, I've got to figure out a way to get shit kind of the way that I said it would be.
Yeah, because like the main ticket of like, oh no, Rhaenyra, come to King's Landing is like, oh no, don't worry, Aemond will be gone. Like Vhagar will be gone. And then, like,
Vhagar's going to be gone.
Yeah, second she gets back in King's Landing, Aemond's like, yeah, no, I actually decided to stay here. I think it's best to, you know, to stay defense heavy, and I think best to just, you know, play it safe. And then you just see Alicent like, uh-oh, and then like, no, you should definitely go to Harrenhal, like for sure though.
No,
like,
don't you think? Wait, but like, oh no, you're so vulnerable here, and I care so much about you. So you have a woman. Aemond is on the receiving end of positive affection from a woman that he's not paying. So he is all of a sudden like, wait, I'm supposed to kiss you, right? You know, like that's what that computes to in his head is like, oh wait, am I in love with you? Yep. Which is so fucking funny. And Alicent, like, she is giving him motherly affection that she does not. she you know, she doesn't have. I think there's a combination of things going on in Aemond's head. I think Aemond knows to some extent that Alicent's playing him, but also that's his mom, and it's what he's always wanted, is that kind of affection from his mom, and that kind of caring, and that kind of, you know, wanting him to be okay. So in the end, I think he's also kind of trying to see how much he can get away with when he kisses her. Like he is king. And so like, I'm a Targaryen. It doesn't matter that you're my mom. You know what I'm saying? Let's see about it. and obviously she doesn't reciprocate, and he doesn't concern himself much with that. But I do think he is heading for Harrenhal. I have little doubt about that. I think Vhagar and Aemond are going to head to Harrenhal, and Rhaenyra will go uncontested in King's Landing, at least dragon-wise.
That will be nice. A little final show off between them.
Yeah.
Everyone else has their battle, but theirs is just like literally a conversation. I hope that. I would love that. But I do. Oh man, what were we just on? Oh my god, I had
Aemond kissing Alicent.
Yeah. Oh yes, kissing his mother. Going to Harrenhal. Yes, the God's Eye. Is this like a known location, or like am I going to get major spoilers if I look up the God's Eye?
You will likely get major spoilers. So, I mean,
like it sounds like a body of water.
Yes, it is. It is a body of water. It is definitely a body of water, and Aemond is definitely, Honey's in the chat saying yes. Don't search. Don't search the God's Eye. Because you were saying, I don't know if this was on mic, but you said, I trust everything Helena says.
Yes.
I do too. Aemond is going to drown in the God's Eye. Like that is something that's going, I don't want that confirmed for me. I don't want it denied for me. I'm just like, that is my theory at the moment. Like that's just because Helena is the most interesting character in this show. And I fucking love her. I trust everything she says. So whenever she looks at him and is like, yep, you're going to drown, like you're going to die in the God's Eye. Whoops. Or you'll be in the God's Eye or whatever the fuck. Like it's, oh man, I trust that implicitly. Now, I don't know if that's strictly near Harrenhal. I don't know location wise exactly where the God's Eye is.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's relatively in that region.
Yeah, God's Eye. Just like a pond.
Might be
a
lake.
The God's Eye. Yeah. So like, I don't know. It's not an ocean. I don't know. It sounds like a
Honey has confirmed it is next to Harrenhal. Honey, you're my ride or die. Thank you for
nice.
that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, because but if Aemond's heading to Harrenhal and the God's Eye's right there, Aemond dies in the God's Eye. It feels like, at least, I trust. I do kind of trust everything Helena says, and kind of on this rewatch as well, gave me a new look at like the whole prophecy, like of A Song of Ice and Fire, and like how, like I think with the Targaryen view of it that we always have of it, like of the prophecy, it like we see it played out, and we know the end of it. I guess we see the ultimate end, that it did play out. But I think that like each different sect of magic, or like sect of the world, kind of has their own version of the prophecy that they are also fulfilling. Like I think with the Strongs and like Alice and them, they're like not really an enemy to Rhaenyra and Daemon. They're like kind of actively helping them, like without, maybe it's in a weird way, or like it seemed at first that like they were trying to like smear Daemon, but like I honestly think that they're trying to unite and fight for their side more. And like I think like they have this weird kind of prophetic, I don't know, or like kind of vague clarity of purpose of like,
I think the Strong House, I think the Strong House is dedicated to Rhaenyra. I think Alice is an agent of chaos. I do not trust Alice. Alice Rivers, free agent. Free agent looking for the best offer on the market. Not sure exactly what she's up to.
What did we see this episode? What was the
creature? We saw... I fucking love that thing. Love that thing. We saw it once before in season 2. Daemon briefly sees it during one of his visions. The antlered... his antlered friend.
She says that she's like an owl trapped in human form or something, whatever, and then an owl like lands on her arm. Of course, I think like when I watched season 2, that was out before I watched Peaks. So yeah, it was like I didn't think of owls the way I do now.
The owls
but of
are
course,
not what they seem.
Yeah, of course she has an owl thing, but She is. It feels like, yes, kind of Agent of Chaos, but it feels that she's also like she was in the right place.
She's got her
time.
purposes.
She gave Damon the clarity of purpose of like, all right, you weren't ready before, you're ready now. Here's what you need to do, and obviously
That's
here's
true.
why Rhaenyra needs to be on the
That's
throne,
true.
sort of thing. So it feels she might just be like the three-eyed raven right now, or like the closest thing to it. Like, I don't know if that old dude is chilling in the tree yet, I don't know. Maybe he could be. I guess no, he does say he's been there for like fucking 1,000. Or no, I don't know. Does he date himself? Maybe he doesn't.
Honey is informing me that the antler dude, and apparently the antler people, there could be multiple, are called green men.
The green men? This sounds like like the children of the forest, the green men. These are like,
it's part of
early
part of
beings,
old gods, sort of yes. Bag there.
Yeah, and I think that like like the god of fire. That's not right, or I don't know, like who Lady Massaria and all those people worship. Is it just the god of fire?
No. Lord of Light.
Lord of Light, thank you. Like, it feels like it's just wrapped in a different context. Like, it's all the same kind of prophecy, all the same things that need to happen to defeat the White Walkers and the big evil forces, and it's just like the gods kind of playing their, they're puppeteering a little bit up in the sky, and it feels like that's what the strong, or like Alice, at least a little bit. I don't think she's fully chaotic. I think there is a method.
She has a guiding. Yeah, I'm with you. It was more an expression, Agent of Chaos, but like what she does this week doesn't seem to be supportive of Rhaenyra's cause. Whenever she talks to Hugh and Ulf and Alan, and is like, yeah, he's right. You guys got to go. It's like, oh, do they? Like there's something about her that I just don't trust fully, and she seems, Honey is hitting me with all sorts of fun facts here. And Honey, you do not have to apologize. It is okay. As long as you're not spoiling anything for me, I am so happy to gain the knowledge that you were giving me. So a little bit more fun facts about the Green Men. They're supposedly a combination of the children of the forest and regular humans. And they are the protectors of the quote, Isle of Faces, which, Honey, might you confirm for me whether or not that has anything to do with the House of Black and White and the Faceless Men?
Yeah, that was my immediate. That's what I thought they were referring to. If that's the case, oh my God, you're tying together some of my favorite storylines there are.
It is exactly what that is, according to Honey. So dude, that's very cool. That is very cool to know. Like Thank you, Honey.
This is all of the magical works at play, but not in the way. Oh my God! Like, does the House of Black and White even exist yet? Like, are we gonna see it form? Yeah. Oh man. Okay, yeah. Anyway, okay. Now I'm getting but I think over this is like an overall prophecy that like everyone's just working towards, but no one knows it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's you're getting into a larger philosophical question about gods and free will and stuff. Like there is if there's. Well, and it's also like, if gods have that much control over everything, how the fuck did the evil even rise in the first place? There's, accidents happen, oh no, now we have to course correct. But I love that they are, and this, we're on the exact same page as Honey here in the chat. They said, I'm so excited that they are really leaning to the magic of Game of Thrones, which is the best part. I agree completely. Honey, I'm sorry I gendered you. I don't know your pronouns. I would be happy if you told me so I can refer to you as something other than Honey or they, them. If you are they, them, that's cool too.
Sure.
But the magical side of the universe, which is something that I wanted more of out of Game of Thrones, even though they kind of they ease you into the magic of it all, it's still left very open. And I'm not expecting answers from House of the Dragon as like how, she, her, Anna for Honey, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say guy in the chair, but that's okay. It's our girl in the chair. Yeah, it is. It is very nice to know.
In the chair.
Get these things confirmed, so we don't sound.
I appreciate it. So for the listeners who aren't on TikTok and might be getting this next day and everything, you can. We're going to do this from now on. I think this has been a lot of fun. I enjoy this, and right now, Honey is our most active listener. We also had somebody named Big Boy in the chat earlier who was talking to us for a little bit. But this is fun. I like this method. I think this is something we're going to stick with. So if you are interested, we'll announce a little bit in advance, and we'll try to do a TikTok live, and I'll probably announce it on TikTok. You can follow me, Colton Robertson. I believe that's still my username. It might be Cora Bloom, one or the other, somewhere in there. I'm not good at TikTok. I don't do nearly enough of it.
I'm even worse.
Yeah, but yeah. Joe, I was walking Joe through it like I had any knowledge of what I was doing. But to go back to the magic of it all, I think that when it comes to the prophecy, we even had to do a lot of when we were doing our Game of Thrones rewatch. When we did season 1, episode 1 through season 8, episode 6, we covered every episode, every scene, every single bit of it over on Geek with Me, or here on Geek with Me, I should say. There's by the time we got to season 8, and we even kind of revisited it when season 1 and 2 of House of the Dragon came around, and we hear this, A Song of Ice and Fire was the idea that it was Aegon's dream, like that a Targaryen would unite the realm. And, we were like, oh, well, Arya, we talked about how Arya kills the Night King and da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, but she didn't unite the realm against that threat, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, Daenerys and Jon do that. Targaryens unite the realm against the threat in the north. That is what happens. They don't strike the killing blow, but they're the reason they're in a position to do it in the first place. Now, ironically, they also don't entirely unite the realm, as the Lannisters are not there. What are you gonna do?
But as far as humans are concerned, humans versus the dead, and in the history books, like, sadly, Arya won't be the one credited, like, with the kill, like that will go to the Targaryens, or maybe even Bran, I guess in the history books, of like 100 years down the line, who, like, they look back and who killed the Night King. Is it going to be Jon and Dany, or is it just going to be Bran? Or maybe I don't know. Maybe it is Arya. Maybe she's actually highborn enough. I don't know, to make the history books in that way. But it is always interesting to think of, like, maybe the history books of Fire and Blood actually just show, like, I don't know, like a very simple jump from one Targaryen to the next, and like it wouldn't be a massive spoiler, but it's just like the point of the show is to show how much can happen in one generation, but then the history books just make it seem that it was like all normal and all according to plan.
And I mean, the way that we've talked about this repeatedly with this show too, is that history, the way that it's written, is inherently non-feeling and objective, and it's just a list of facts typically, and usually isn't objective. It's usually written by somebody with intention, like that is why they are writing it. So yeah, there's no telling how much, when it comes to the histories we come to understand in Game of Thrones of this period, how much it actually applies. Like it's there's a mention of Eric and Eric in Game of Thrones, the TV show, and how they fought valiantly on the battlefield and died in service of, the warring Targaryens. They fought in a castle, and one of them killed the other and then killed himself. Like that's but that is how history would remember that. Like that's and that's an interesting. Like whenever Brienne is writing the end of Jaime's story in Game of Thrones, he died protecting his queen, which he did, but we're not getting all the fucking details there. That's true. I think that's important. So that's what I love about the show in general, is that it is contextualizing all sorts of stuff that previously, as far as the television universe is concerned, has existed without context. And I really, really adore it.
Yeah. And I bet, that it's not exactly 1-to-1 of the book anyway, so I don't think like, even if the book is sound, I think like I think the fact that it was Aegon's like dream, that was like one of the biggest strays from the book. I think that like that wasn't a thing, or maybe it was like
well, Honey
Viserys
actually hit me
told
up in the
Rhaenyra
chat
something
earlier.
about the dream.
Yeah, Honey hit me in the chat earlier and said that the dream actually came from Daenys the Dreamer, which I'm assuming.
Whoa.
I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, Honey, or Anna. I'm sorry, your username here. Has the show confirmed that? Has the show confirmed that the dream was Daenys, or have we only heard from Viserys that it was Aegon's dream? Is that a book thing? Because if it is a book thing, cool. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Okay. Yes, it is a book thing.
Okay. I was gonna say that name did not ring a bell. That's okay, but yeah, I think the fact that like Viserys bringing it up was a major like deviation, and like so I've heard that like, or just get the sense that like it is a somewhat faithful adaptation, but it's not really to be expected that they're going to follow everything, like because there already are some pretty major differences. But I don't know what those really, other than that fact of like that the
dream, I have no clue.
Wasn't as important, I guess, or like at this long standing or something like that. But I don't know. I in fantasy show, I love a good prophecy. I love to see it building in my eye, even though have seen the end of it already. It's like this is almost even cooler of like seeing all of the bigger, I don't know, or the dominoes that had to have kind of been placed back then. And like, yeah, it's because I don't know, the thing I just keep going back and forth on is like to say Rhaenyra is dead, and like I do see that, like I do, like she just has to go down fighting, but like she might come to the same conclusion that like, no, she's dying. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Does she succeed and just actually like fully be like, no, it is sadly just a man's world that I live in, and I was just simply born in the wrong body, and that's that. And like so she's out of her own mouth. She did say that like, my duty is actually to the realm, not to like just ensure that I sit the Iron Throne. And I think that like that's at least the conclusion we're barreling down so easily, right? Like it almost seems that the path to the Iron Throne for Rhaenyra is too easy right now. Like there has to be more conflict in the way that I'm not seeing, or like it seems that she's just gonna fly to King's Landing with all of her dragons. Aemon's gonna be gone, and like what?
Well, clearly, sitting the throne doesn't inherently make you infallible because there's going to be challengers. Like, as long as Aemond and Aegon are alive, there's challengers. You know what I'm saying? The people who are rallying behind them, there's challengers. So I mean, it's not an inherent. As soon as she sits the Iron Throne, it doesn't automatically make her claim uncontested. Like that's
true.
That doesn't make that. I mean, that there's a reason Rhaenyra's fighting for it at all, because that means it's not uncontested. Kings and rulers can be overthrown. We've seen that. Like that's a possibility. So, I mean, when it comes to the way that wraps itself up, I can't even fathom. And there's an argument to be made that it never really wraps itself up. I mean, obviously, this familial conflict in and of itself will wrap itself up, but we know the end of the Targaryen reign.
Yeah.
We know it was Robert's rebellion. We know it was the overthrowing there, and and when Daenerys rose up, we know what eventually befalls her. So, it's fascinating to kind of to know we can tell so many stories in this universe, even though we know the big strokes, the broad strokes, like to have brought it to such a human level to make me care about and that's what Game of Thrones was so good at. And that's what I'm so happy House of the Dragon is doing so well. And it's what A Night of the Seven Kingdoms did that I didn't really expect of it, is that it made the human beats, the intimate human drama of it, the center. It makes that the important thing, and then all the fantasy aspects, all the magic, everything that comes with it, that is second to character. And ultimately, that's what makes for good TV. And I think that a lot of people didn't give House of the Dragon season 2 nearly enough credit. I think that there, and there's always going to be bad faith stuff. Like the episode where Massaria and Rhaenyra kiss in season 2 is like the worst rated episode of the show on IMDb. And it's like, oh, I wonder why. It's because people are homophobic.
People
and
don't
stupid
want a woman on the throne still to the day. It's crazy. Like, I mean, it's come on. It's for. I mean, this one's sitting at a 9.9 right now. I mean, there's only
this is an all timer.
7, but like no, that's gonna hold true. I think okay, 9.4. I hit refresh 4K. But yeah, no, this one was holy shit. Like I texted you that, and I think I do agree with this, or just on par, but like production value that of or greater than Mando and Grogu. And I mean, I don't know. I think it for a episode of television, like it's crazy that I'm even kind of making that comparison. I would not make that comparison with any of the sequel or like trilogy movies for Star Wars. I don't think, but I don't know. I was trying to think of like the closest movie that I've seen to that episode this year. And I don't know. I think like the production was just on a different level this episode. Like this, it was.
The production value is insane. It is absolutely absurd. And I want to go back to the chat here for a second because I don't disagree with Anna here in the chat. She said, well, people felt like the kiss wasn't warranted, like it just happens to happen. There was no buildup. And I don't entirely disagree with that. I think that that's a fair that can be a fair critique of the episode, but I don't think it warrants a 1 out of 10, which is what it got bombarded with on IMDb. Is more what I was getting at. But yeah, that is a fair critique, and I would argue that on my especially on rewatch, and again, this might not warrant exactly an expression of romance like a kiss, but there's a lot of lingering looks, a lot of intimacy that is displayed that Rhaenyra hasn't been privileged to since Alicent, who I would argue she had a crush on when they were kids. There's a lot of that energy that existed between her and Alicent in the early episodes, and I think it kind of reminded her that it's not just guys for her. And I think that kind of reignited something in her. And I don't think that I don't disagree that it's not exactly warranted, and they haven't done anything with it since, which I think is interesting as well. Which is why this argument that it wasn't warranted has a lot of fruit, because they haven't done anything with it since. They just kissed the once and that was that, like they haven't even touched on the fact that they've been romantic. They had a spark of romance, which I think is very odd to not acknowledge after something like that. But yeah, I think
at least this episode, the closest they came to acknowledging it was Massaria tried to speak up, and then like Rhaenyra just kept going, and then like Massaria was kind of like, "Oh, okay, interesting," like taken back by it. But I think that was more of just like a small council effect and not a like relationship effect they had. But I don't know.
And that's the thing. They haven't acknowledged it enough since for me to project any sort of like they are almost acting like. There's a version of the show where Rhaenyra is acting like it didn't happen. But it's not written in a way it's like Rhaenyra's acting like it didn't happen. Rhaenyra's got bigger fish to fry, so she's not even fucking thinking about it, is the way that it's reading. So it does retroactively make it feel more pointless, So to Anna's argument here, I don't entirely disagree. But I do think review bombing is an effective bad faith criticism, not good faith criticism, which you are giving.
And both of them were like taken advantage of by Daemon, like not their whole life, but for a long time. And then like this is finally, both for their own taking a little bit. Maybe Massaria a little forced because like that is the queen right there, and like you can't really turn it down. But like she was feeling it too. I don't know. You could.
There's a power dynamic thing going on. Yeah, that's true.
but I think it was at least as relationships go in the show. One that I hope to actually keep going. One that feels good. That yeah. So I mean,
and that's why my disappointment is the fact that they haven't acknowledged it at all since. I would love for them to return to that in some capacity. And again, bigger fish to fry. Now that Jace is dead, I don't think they'll ever fucking talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things where I'm like, I don't think that's ever going to come up again, which makes it all the more interesting a choice. Or maybe, she looks for solace in the one person who's capable of providing it.
Yeah, it could be a wedge between
3 tickets for challengers? No, 3 tickets for challengers, please.
Yes, another triangle, and it is Rhaenyra says to Daemon that you must be okay with me and Masari. Daemon won't be okay with it. I don't know. He'll always be just anti.
Hey,
but no, it's...
Targaryen kings took multiple wives. I don't see
true.
why Targaryen queens can't take multiple spouses. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. Daemon was about to take Massaria as his spouse as well. So, Daemon can't be that mad if Rhaenyra wants to. It's like, well, you were going to do the same thing. So, I mean, yeah, make it come true, I guess. Actually, well, no, that's weird. I was going to say, consummate the marriage, but then, actually, Daemon would have to get Massaria pregnant, I guess, and, that's...
You can't. It's canonical.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, no, she can't get pregnant. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Anna is asking permission to spoil a book thing. Doesn't really affect upcoming events. Do you consent?
I'm down. I'm down for it.
Okay,
but yeah,
down.
the no
Anna
pregnancy thing is crazy. It makes the fucking Daemon saying that there's a baby in her on that bridge. What the fuck?
How did that lot heavier.
Click? How did that not click? Mm-hmm. That just connected. For me.
That's why she's so fucking mad about it. Not just that it's a lie, obvious. But that she's it's literally not possible. Yeah.
Oh my God. The show. It just keeps getting better. The show. Oh,
no, it's great, man. I'm having a fucking fantastic time with it. I'm trying to think what Rhaenyra, Lyanna, and Daemon were in the throuple.
Lyanna. Wait.
No, Lyanna Stark is who's in it later, but not that Lyanna Stark. Can I get a last name on Lyanna? Is that Alina Targaryen? Is it another Targaryen?
Or is that the Stark?
It wouldn't be the Stark. That Stark would be way too... No, not even close.
Oh, no, because Ned is... no. Okay, we're not even... Yeah, no. Yeah. Way off there. A Lyanna great. No, we're so many removed still.
Yeah.
We're 100.
Lena, not Lyanna. Sorry, Valerian. It's Lena, not Lyanna. Sorry, I was misreading it. That's my fault.
And this is a book throuple, a confirmed book throuple.
Yeah, this happened apparently. According to Anna here, and her word is bond for me. I trust Anna with my life now.
This is Helena. You're our version of Helena. You are the throne's dream seeker.
Deadass. She's been riding with us for an hour now. This is so real as fuck of her. Literally only motherfucker in this live. I appreciate it so greatly. It's there's been people joining, swiping, but Anna's sticking with us, and you will always be heralded as the first real listener on the TikTok live. Anna said, "Should I just join?" LOL. We'll save that for another day. We are recording separate audio channels for our podcast that we will put out on Apple and Spotify and YouTube and everything. So that's why we are doing it this way. This mic doesn't have any, not decorative. You feel me? No, but have we really left anything out?
I was trying to think. It really is a lot of big battle that is a lot like you said, it is big flashy stuff, but it really the crux of it all is just the the kind of
It's
one-on-ones
the
that
character
happen,
beats.
or
It's the character beats. Yeah.
So I think we got all
one conversation that we have not regarded was Alan and Corliss on the ship prior to the Triarchy showing up.
Oh my god, yeah. Wow. That was good. I mean, this, and yeah, Alan, I guess, like, another one that was kind of like off screen. You're like, he won the battle, and like, I think he's fine, you know, at least he's gonna pull Corliss probably out of the water again, you know, save his life another time. And be there. But okay, yeah, I forgot that there was a little bit more to them this episode that we didn't get to.
Yeah, Alan literally, you know, he insists, you know, I want nothing from you, you know, that, you know, you're not nothing to me, but you haven't been there for me, so why don't you stay out of my life, and da-da-da-da. And the second he goes in the water, he's like, Dad, which I fucking love, you know. He's like, Father, you know. I love dramatic beats like that, dude. Like, that just hits me like a truck. And him and Anna pointed it out, you know, how about Alan calling Corliss father before we really started talking about it here. Yeah, I love that beat. Because again, it shows there's so much complicated air around all of this family. And we talked about it a lot last season, the Corliss and Rhaenys's relationship. And, you know, when Rhaenys met Alan and was kind of like, you know, your mother must have been a very comely woman, you know, like you are a good looking man, you know, your mother must have been beautiful. And it was kind of like for him to cheat on my ass, you know, like, but not really, but like there was a little bit of that, a little bit of air of that there, but,
Wow. Yeah. I think, you know, Corliss isn't a saint either, but I think it is just kind of that you have your political wife, and then every guy just, you know, unless you're a knight or, you know, in the King's Guard, or it's like, you know, no one stays faithful, it feels like in this world. But
yeah, it doesn't seem like it, except maybe Sir Gawain. Gawain seems real.
That's true. Yeah,
but
no, they have their drink, you know, that sit down, the little in the captain's room. You know, they're like starting to build the relationship now, which I hope can continue, but I don't know about now. You know, he wakes up, like he's gotta.
Oh yeah, like, yeah. I think he'll. I expect that we will go a few, maybe an episode without Corliss. But yeah, he's not gonna die.
The missing hands. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Like, that Otto is still just kind of like, where the fuck is Otto? Like, they've been trying to look for him for a while now, and they like just can't find the dude or whatever.
Well, they show him at the end of season 2 in the dungeons of King's Landing.
Oh my god!
And then, but somebody like comes with a lantern, and he like puts his hand over his face like, oh, I haven't seen light in days, you know, so who knows where he goes from there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like Aegon sent him out of the city, and then I think Larys was like, you're getting your ass locked up, buddy, you know, like at least that's my guess.
Okay, yeah, I like that. But yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know, well, Larys is kind of out of the game now, but I don't know, yeah, the kind of mirror of each side, they're kind of all on their own now. And I wonder, well, I guess like Alicent's still there with Aemon, but Aemon is, I don't know, God, I am so like, I don't, it just feels like Rhaenyra is going to take over the throne right now, and I don't really see how the Greens stop that from happening unless Aemon is pulling like a fast one and like isn't going to Harrenhal, or like is just staying behind. I don't know, but I don't, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen. It feels like this is going to be kind of like a Rhaenyra and Alicent, not like a 1v1, but just like a I don't know, like it can't end there. It can't just be like they show up and then sit the throne. Like there has to be more, and that like what that more happens to be.
In the wake of Jace's death, who knows how much more personal it is for Rhaenyra. You know, when Luke died, it was, I want Aemond. Now Jace is dead, it's like, I want all of them dead. You know, maybe it's not over until they're wiped the fuck out for Rhaenyra. you know?
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, like, and this is something that Anna brought up in the chat that we were touching on, I think, a bit before Anna got here. The one thing she said, the one thing I don't like is how people will start blaming Reyna for Jace's death, which is absolutely going to happen. There's a lot of people who will, in bad faith, observe Reyna's and I will say irresponsibility and, you know, hubris and kind of, you know, overexcitedness. You know, she was ready to jump into the action. It was everything she'd ever wanted. She's here. She can defend her people. But she's got an untrained wild dragon, you know, and that's not really Reyna's fault. It's some, you know, Aemon proved he couldn't control Vhagar. Luke showed that he couldn't control, which Arax, that was his. You know, like that's happened before. So no, not Reyna's fault. In fact, it's more Jace's fault. One thing that we actually haven't touched on is the fact that Jace locked Rhaenyra.
That's true. Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I guess kind of goes to prove his point, though. Like, he did die, and if Rhaenyra went, like, I don't know, and like, she still shows up, and then it goes this, so
she'd.
It's like,
here's the thing about Rhaenyra is that she'd rather be dead than Jace is dead.
That's true, but
you know,
as a viewer and as
as a person watching the show, I'm much more okay with Jace being dead than Rhaenyra. Yeah. No, I'm with you, but yeah, no, like it doesn't go to prove his point strictly because there's again a lot of extenuating circumstance. There's a lot of things that had to happen exactly the way they happened. And, you know, Rhaenyra's more seasoned than Jace. Maybe she's able to avoid certain inevitabilities and. You know, there's no telling. So things happened the way they happened. It doesn't exactly prove anybody right. But something that is undoubted is that her Kingsguardman who locked her away is going to die. Oh my God, that guy's dead. He is so fucking dead. He was dead before Jace died. Now Jace is dead. Oh, he's cooked. You know,
oh no, I didn't think of that guy. That's she might be going down quite a dark. You know, she ripped up her normal clothes. She's only staying in her dragon. You know, her riding leathers or whatever she called them now.
Yeah,
it's like,
she's
in
the inside the episode sort of thing. Emma Darcy explains that Rhaenyra from here on carries herself a lot more like a king. Like a king would. Like she's no longer at least my read of that of Emma Darcy's comment there was that the way that they've talked about kings in the show and the way they've depicted kings in the show, which is that she no longer is giving the benefit of the doubt. You know, she's no longer trying to find the lightest, easiest path, or the least painful path. It's fuck it. People are gonna die. You know, like damn. And man, yeah.
I don't know. I was like, you know, with Jace, I'm like, oh, I love you. But then you started talking about that elitist classes kind of blood type thing. It's like I can't really buy that. But like Rhaenyra, there hasn't been really a thing, you know, that you can really say against her side right now. And then like this would be, you know, if she goes this scorched earth, or, you know, I don't think she'll go full like Daenerys mode at the end. I don't think she's gonna
she's not going to burn King's Landing or anything. But no, there was a point whenever she was talking to, I think this was in the end of season 2, she was talking to Alan and Ulf and Hugh and was like, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to those cities that, you know, hold it down for the Greens. We're going to take them. And they were like, a lot of innocent people are going to die that way. And she's like, this is war, man. You know, like, and Jace is like, yeah, that's what happens, you know, like, and, so again, we are, there's a great bit in I Think You Should Leave, one of my favorite comedy shows ever. I fucking love it. Tim Robinson says, he's trying to justify why they were late to a party. It's a sketch show. He goes, sorry, there was a hit and run, and, you know, like, and they're like, oh my God, is everyone okay? And he goes, you know, the cops said it's fine because, like, the person that got hit, like, they, like, didn't matter. They're like, they just didn't matter. And they're like, what? They said they didn't matter. Like, yeah, like they just didn't matter, you know. And like this show has so much of they just don't matter going on, you know. Like we forgive Rhaenyra of a lot, but a lot of people have died as it pertains to things that she's commanded, and that's just the job of a queen. It's the job of a king, especially at this time, especially in wartime. Like people are going to die. And it is the burden of a ruler to bear the responsibility of that.
The beginning of the episode, like Larys, like they almost died, but then like the people who were just like accompanying them or like the helpers or like
they don't matter.
Like literally they don't matter, and then they die instantly. And you like it's
hilarious that you bring that up. I was watching it with Emily, and she literally quoted the part of I think you should leave that I was just talking about when that happened. She goes, it's okay because they don't matter. You know, like whenever Rhaenys bursts through the floor during the coronation, killed so many people, but it's okay. They don't matter. You know, like they don't even acknowledge because they don't matter. You know, and the show does a lot to insist that they do, you know. Massaria repeatedly emphasizes how much they matter, and I think that's an important job to do in the show, but that's why it's purposeful whenever the Targaryens don't care about that. Is because they are dragon lords, because they are because they view themselves as more important. Their conflict is more important than the lives of these people. Rhaenyra provides King's Landing with food at the end of season 2 because it will garner her favor amongst the common people, not because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It happens to be the right thing to do, but it will also help her.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, and I'm with Rhaenyra all the way. I'd prefer her immensely to Aemond or Aegon, but yeah, you know, it's no perfect king or queen, but
one like last little, they might not even answer this, but kind of like magical mystery thing that I'm trying to piece together is like how the dragons like either choose or if they have a method of choosing people. Like I don't really know if it is blood. You know, it might be some Targaryen thing, and they are in on the prophecy a little bit. But like there was a point to show that like there was a knight that like had all the blood, had all the checks to be there, but then the second that he went, I've done it, like is when the dragon was like, nope, all right, you're dead. You know, so like it was like the want for power, or like the I don't know, like feeling above other people, I think is like kind of what it boils down to for me. Is like, if I can get it in one line, is that like it's not the like quest for power or like you being morally good or not a jerk, because like we currently have, what's that one, the guy who just like lucked into it, who lost in a cave. Yeah, Ulf like is kind of like the shining example of like, well, how did that guy get a dragon, you know? But I don't think he puts himself above anyone else. Like he was with the common folk, and like I think he just never wanted to leave. Like, I don't know. Like he didn't want to have this calling, but like but he doesn't put himself above anyone else.
I don't think there's a confirmed answer to your question, and Anna is confirming that for me. She says that's the biggest question. How do dragons choose? There is no clear answer. I don't think there is any one answer. You know, I think my key go-to for this is Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke choosing Alan.
Yeah. Like outed Alan too. I mean,
found Alan and was like, or found Adam and was like, you are going to be my rider. And the reason is because I think the reason he sought out Adam. Now, how he knows to find Adam and knows where Adam, no idea. Don't know that part. But the reason he chooses Adam is because he's Valerian. You know, because he's like Laenor, who was Sea Smoke's rider. So it's like, yeah, I'll go find the nearest Valerian. And so it's funny, why then would he not choose Rhaena? You know, I don't know. So
Yeah,
like that
sea
immediately,
smoke is
immediately
weird.
a hole is poked.
Yeah,
Immediately
that
a hole
is
is poked in
weird.
that idea. I have no idea why that happened.
Ooh, they see
Silverwing
themselves
with
as
Ulf
more.
seemed
Maybe like they have a quest, like the quest for power is kind of there, or they see themselves as like having a higher calling, but don't like for the right reasons. Maybe it's like they I don't know, because like Ulf he always like thought he was a, I don't know, the higher born story was actually just a, I don't know, made up completely, but like he always had this, I don't know, feeling of a higher calling, and then like the I don't know. I feel like it is this emotional thing. I don't think it is a blood such literal as a blood thing. But
no,
hmm.
I don't know. Well, I'm thinking back to the sea smoke thing. Maybe he refused Reyna because he knows Laenor's not dead. You know, like Laenor isn't actually dead. They sent him across the narrow sea. You know, so maybe he's like, nah, fuck that. My rider's alive.
Like,
you know, like
he's coming back. Don't worry. Like
but then he just gave up and Reyna's
like,
already
oh,
gone.
damn.
So he's like, I'm going to go
like,
find
he's
that.
not
I'm going to go
coming
find
back.
somebody. Yeah. Maybe it was just a grief thing, you know?
Okay. Fair
no,
point.
But,
yeah, fair
Anna
point
brings
there.
this up too, reminded me to talk about Laenor in the first place. Like, where is he? What happened to him? You know, like
Bro's
obviously
just living his life. Yeah, no, they're he's done. I think,
my hope is that we don't see Laenor again. I hope that Laenor and Carl with a Q are just living happy.
Yeah, Buck.
Over across. Yeah, Buck Cashman.
That's crazy.
I'm really hoping that Carl and Laenor are just chilling, really soaking up the sun over across the narrow sea, living good. I want like an epilogue after the end of the last episode of them just like chilling beachside, sipping through coconuts. You know, like that's what that'd be an ideal. Like at least somebody gets a happy ending. You know, because one could argue that ending up on the Iron Throne isn't the happy ending either.
Bravos,
you know, like there's
actually is like
just
I feel
getting Alicent, the end of season 2 for Alicent. I was like, this is the closest anybody has
yes.
to getting a happy ending. Like whenever they do those paralleling shots where it smash cuts from Daenerys trapped by the annals of history, like she's in one of the little boxes that has all the scrolls, and then it smash cuts to Alicent in the same spot with the vast open space. Fucking cook. Love that moment. And that's the closest anyone can get to a happy ending in this show. Is what Jon gets at the end of Game of Thrones. Is you get to go north and do whatever the fuck you want now. You know, like that's as happy an ending as you get.
I got to mentally prepare for not the happy ending here that we're gonna get. But there's still another season after this. Is that another season with Rhaenyra?
Crazy to me.
I don't,
crazy to me that we have another season of the show.
I know.
Like it feels like, especially after watching season 2 again.
Yeah. Like this feels like it. This is it. This is what it's all.
You would think, but no. 4 seasons. 4 seasons.
What is it? Just this war lasts a long time? Is it that maybe this war is actually over with this season, and then we just season 4 is whoever is last standing? I don't know. I have no clue what to expect of like
season
the pace.
4 could. I mentioned it at the beginning. Maybe season 1 was the prologue. Maybe season 4 is an epilogue, and they kind of do like a paralleling sort of vibe there. I don't know. I could see it.
Yeah, and it was only kind of like half of season 1 as well. It was like you got the first. What was it like? Was it 5 and 5, or was it maybe like on episode 6 they did the switch to?
Yeah, it was episode 5. Episode 5 was Millie Alcock. Episode 6 was Emma Darcy.
Yeah,
and that was that. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it could be like just the last half of the season or so, like again. But then like, would they go, like all the way up? Would we see the times of Dunk and Egg, and then like all the way up until Thrones, or is it just like this story contain? Like I wonder like how much.
I got to imagine we're containing this story. Because season 4 is confirmed to be the end of the show, and I don't think we're diving that far into it. Like, and now it is called the House of the Dragon, and I could see them utilizing that as a means to tell more Targaryen stories, kind of the way that I think they should have treated The Mandalorian. Yes. Like, I think season 3 of The Mandalorian should have been the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I know. And then Bo-Katan should have just taken over, and then
we get another story about a different Mandalorian. Yeah, like there's so on and so forth. But
the show does open with like 180 whatever or however many years before Daenerys Targaryen, and that could just place it. That could just be like, oh, this
they could do
name,
that again.
This year, but like it could be like the bookends of the show are like this many years before Daenerys, and then boom, here is
this
her
many years before
birth,
Daenerys,
or like it ends with her lineage being, I don't know, confirmed, or like just the mere mention of like she's on the way or something like that. I don't know, and that's the bookend.
I mean, we would have quite the fucking epilogue for us then, because that's 180 years or whatever the fuck. So,
this is true.
Yeah, I'm like, Dunk and Egg is 100 years before Game of Thrones, and that's 80 years after this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it maybe is not a literal, maybe, Three-Eyed Raven or a magical seeing the prophecy
like
fulfilled.
a montage sort of vibe. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, no, I'm really, really pleased with it. I have a lot of hopes for season 3. I'm so excited to keep on diving in.
Back in Thrones mode.
Anna is really hoping that they adapt the book kind of faithfully, because she says she hopes it ends the way it does in the book, and that she said book-wise the actual war here only lasts like 2 years. It's like the shortest war, which I would argue that technically this war, while the effects surrounding it have lasted a lot more than 2 years. The war itself probably is approaching roughly that 2-year mark, and I can't imagine we are. Again, I don't see it going much longer. I think the war is close to over. But
that could be our crying wolf, though, of this season. Like, surely the war's over, right? Like
exactly. Oh, that is absolutely what we're doing this season. It was, Viserys will die next episode, right? Season 1. Oh, the war's about to start, right? In season 2.
Now it's over. And now so it's ending next episode. Or like, obviously it'll end at King's Landing, and, everything will be square. Next episode, it'll be clear. But, okay. So war is not ending ever. Well, we know it doesn't end. I mean, until the Night King, then it's pure peace from that point on in my head canon. So, that Bran figured it out somehow. It's there. But yeah, it's war until then.
But yeah, I think with that we can conclude our first episode of Geek With Me on House of the Dragon Season 3. Cannot wait to be back next week for episode 2 of season 3. And we'll be back every week after that. Be looking out on our socials for the TikTok live times, because I do plan on doing this again. I think this was a great time. Shout out to Anna. I'm going to go ahead and follow you after this so that we can make sure that you know that this is happening every time, because you're real as fuck for that. But we would love for you to join us. I think it was a great time, and if you want to get the episode a little earlier, because this isn't coming out until 7 a.m. tomorrow, we got it done here local time 2 a.m. But it was a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing it again every week for the next 7 weeks hereafter. So can't wait. 8-episode season again, baby. We got a lot to look forward to. I'm going to do some plugs, and then we can get out of here. We also have a movie podcast. It's called The Cinementalists. That's Cinementalists. The Cinementalists. Right now we are in the midst of celebrating Pride Month. And this Friday brings us a personal classic, which is Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I love that movie to death. We've had a great slate of movies this month, but I'm a Cheerleader, Saving Face, Watermelon Woman, and we're concluding the month with Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And then we've got a whole nother month of movie coverage in July that I'm so very excited for. We're going to be doing like 50 years in the making. We're doing a movie from 1976, and then 1986, and then 1996, and then 2006, and then 2016. Kind of a 50 years, 50-year timeline. You know, it's fun. You know, that's a great time. That's what we'll be doing in July every Friday. So, got that to look forward to. We did, I mentioned that we did an entire Game of Thrones rewatch podcast. We've covered every episode of House of the Dragon so far. We've covered every episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This is what we do. And we've also done an entire television podcast on Twin Peaks. It was called Fire Pod with me. You should absolutely check it out. I was rewatching it. Joseph watched it for the first time. It was a great time. We had an absolute blast. And you're missing out if you've never seen Twin Peaks. So you got to go check it out. If you're into the mystical, you're into not understanding quite everything that's going on, Twin Peaks is the place to be. But yeah, I think that's about all I got. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And again, thank you, Anna, for being the gal in the chair. Last recommendation here. If you like The Three-Eyed Raven, look at The Black Fires. It's heavily about The Three-Eyed Raven. Interesting. The Black Fires. F-Y-R-E-S.
Yes,
The Black Fires. It's one word. The Black Fires. Okay. So keep that in mind. But I think with that, we will conclude this episode, and we will conclude this TikTok Live. Thank you very much. Remember, fire, blood, and fuck ice.